Let's see the next topic. The next topic is basic of computer networking, and in today's session we are going to see data communication. And in the data communication, these are the two important topics. The first one is the components of data communication, and the second one is modes of data communication. Okay, so student, these are the 5 components of data communication, which is the basis of computer networking. These are the first, message. The second one is the sender. The third one is the receiver. Fourth one is the medium. And fifth one is protocol. Okay, so let's see in detail one by one. So the first, message, is basically the actual data or information which is to be transmitted. Okay, so who is going to send the message? It is the sender, and the data or information which is being sent is called message. Okay, and it can be of any type. It can be of text, it can be of image, it can be of audio, video, or any other file. Okay, moving on to the next is the sender. It is also known as source, and the sender can be a device or the person that sends the message. Okay, so the person or the device who is going to send the message is known as sender or the source. The example could be one computer, or it could be a smartphone, or it could be a sensor. Okay, once the message is transmitted from sender, it should be received by the person or a device that is going to receive that message. Okay, similarly, it can be a computer, smartphone, or any other sensor. Okay, so these are the 3 component: message, sender, and receiver. Okay, so sender is going to send the message. Okay, what type of message? It can be any text, image, audio, video, and the receiver is going to receive that message. The receiver can be a computer, smartphone, or sensor. Okay, the next one is a medium. Okay, sender has transmitted the message on what medium? It is a path or channel. Okay, what do I mean by path or channel? Path or channel can be a wired one, for example, twisted pair, coaxial cable, fiber optics, or it can be wireless like radio waves, microwave, or infrared. Okay, so once the sender is sent a message on the medium, the message will be traveled in this particular channel. That channel could be wire or a wireless. The next one is the protocol, and it is very important. And in the basic of networking, protocol is one of the important topic where you will get one question. Okay, basically protocols, you remember, these are the set of rules that governs the communication, and we have seen lot of protocol like TCP/IP, HTTP, FTP, and many more. And in the basic of networking, we are going to see many such protocol which are very important from the exam point of view. And these set of rule are what? These ensure that message is being properly sent, received, and the understanding of data. Okay, I repeat once again. The message is basically text or data which is going to be sent from sender to receiver through some medium. Okay, the medium can be wired or wireless. The sender or receiver can be a computer, smartphone, or any other sensor. And the protocol basically is a set of rules which define the proper sending and receiving and understanding of data. Okay, for example, the sender is sending some data in English, okay, but the receiver is not understanding English. Okay, so protocol says that it should have understanding of English, then it can understand that data. Okay, so these are the 5 components of data communication. The next topic is modes of data communication. There are three types of modes. What do I mean by mode? It is data flow. Okay, so data can flow from one direction to another. As we have seen, there is a link between sender and receiver. So either sender can receive the data or receiver can also send the data. Okay, it depends upon the mode of data communication. So in mode of data communication, we have three different modes. The first one is simplex, second one is half duplex, and the third one is full duplex. Simplex, as the word suggests, it is very simple one. It is one-way communication. Okay, for example, this is a mainframe computer and this is a monitor. So mainframe is going to send the data and monitor is going to receive the data and it is going to display on the screen. Okay, so this type of communication, only one direction data is flowing, that is from mainframe to the monitor, and it is called unidirection. Uni means one and direction means in the one direction. Okay, and as it is unidirection, data will flow only in one direction. Here, as you can see, from mainframe to monitor, only this direction is there, only one direction is there. The other example include keyboard and CPU. Okay, so as you are entering some data from the keyboard, it is going to enter into the CPU. Okay, the keyboard will not receive any data from the CPU, right? So in this way, this mode is the simplex mode. Okay, similarly, if we talk about CPU to monitor, CPU is sending data to monitor, but monitor is not sending any data to CPU, so it is only one direction. Okay, so that means it is a simplex communication. Okay, let's see the next one, that is half duplex. It is two-way communication. Okay, both these half duplex and full duplex, they are two-way communication, but the difference is that in half duplex it is alternating bidirectional. What do I mean by alternating bidirectional? It means that data can flow in one direction at a time. Okay, suppose if station is sending data to station 2, when this station 1 is sending data to station 2 cannot send data at the same time. Okay, it means data will flow only in one direction at a particular instance of time. Okay, when one send, other must wait. This is a main characteristic of half duplex. The example is walkie-talkie. As we have seen, like the police patrolling unit generally use walkie-talkie, where one person is speaking while other in the listening mode. Okay, so that is the basic of half duplex. But if you talk about full duplex, it is purely two-way communication and it is simultaneous bidirection. Means data can flow in both the direction at the same time, whereas in half duplex at a time, one at a time, whereas in full duplex it is both direction at a time. And this pointer was asked in SSC JEE Civil. Okay, and example, we have telephone, mobile call, etc. Like in telephone, either person can speak at a time and both can listen at a time, both can speak at a time. So in this way, the communication is full duplex. Let's see the next topic. So the next topic is an introduction to the computer networks, and in this particular chapter we are going to see the definition of computer network and what are the different classification of the networks. Okay, so let's see the definition of a network. Before going to see the definition of network, let's see what exactly is a node in the computer network. Student, remember, a node is any device which is capable of sending and receiving the data. Okay, so device can be anything. It can be a computer, it can be a printer, it can be a smartphone, it can be other networking device. So all such devices are called nodes in the computer network. I repeat, a node is any device which is able to send or receive the data. It can be a computer, it can be a printer, it can be a smartphone. Okay. Now let's see the definition of network, and this is commonly asked in the banking exam. When two or more nodes are interconnected to exchange the information with each other is called network. Okay, so why network is required? To exchange the information. Okay, so when two devices are communicating with each other, it means they are exchanging some sort of information. And when two or more nodes or the device are interconnected, it became a computer network. Understood? So how to connect the devices? It can be point to point and it can be multi-point. So when one station is connected to another, it is point to point. Whereas if you see, when a link is having multiple stations are connected at a point, it is called multi-point. Okay, so many devices can be connected in multi-point type of connection, whereas in point to point only one link is there between the two stations. Okay, so what we have understood, a computer is basically the interconnection of two or more nodes which are going to exchange the information, and they are going to become a computer network. Okay. Now let's see the different type of network, and this is very important topic from the exam point of view. Okay, so there are basically two classification you can make. First is on the basis of area, coverage area basically, and the second one is on the basis of access. Okay, so on the basis of area, these are the different type of network that we are going to see. And on the basis of access, we have intranet, extranet and internet. Okay, and on the basis of area, we have the PAN, that is the smallest one, and this is very important one. These are commonly asked, which type of network is smallest one? It is PAN, that is personal area network. And in the upcoming slide, we are going to see each and every type of network. Okay, and the largest one is WAN, that is WAN. It is wide area network. Okay, so the first one is PAN. As I told you earlier, that PAN is personal area network. So this, the full form is personal area network, and the word itself suggests that it is personal. Okay, personal means it is going to connect the personal electronic device around the one person. Okay, since I am going to connect to a personal area network, I am the person and my electronic devices are my personal one, so it is going to connect all such devices and it will create a personal area network. As it is connected to the personal electronic device, so coverage area will be minimal. It is around few meter. You can see like it is around 1%, and it is very important since coverage area very small, so it has smallest geographical area. Okay, so this network has smallest geographical area because it is going to cover only few meters. The example, and everybody knows that Bluetooth, infrared, hotspot, all these are the example of personal area network. Okay, so like in like you need to connect your earpods with the Bluetooth, so it is your personal area network. You are connecting to your device around your body. Okay, so it become a personal area network. The next one is LAN, that is local area network. This is very important and these are commonly asked in the exam like SSC, CGL, RRB and TPC. LAN stand for local area network. And the purpose It is used to connect the computers and the devices within limited area. Local means a limited area. Okay, it is going to connect the nodes within a limited area. So what about the coverage area? Coverage area will be very small. It is like a room or the building up to the few kilometers. Okay, so if your building or the room have one LAN, it means it is going to cover that room and building only. Okay, so it is going to become a local area network. And the very popular one is the Ethernet, and Ethernet is the most popularly used technology used in the LAN, that is local area network. Okay, this is very important. Ethernet is most popularly used technology used in the LAN. And example is very simple. As I told you, it is going to cover up to like room or building. The example is an office network or the school or Wi-Fi in your home or office. Okay, so if you have Wi-Fi in your room, it means you are having a local area network. Okay, and it is not an Ethernet, it is some sort of wireless fidelity. It is wireless sort of LAN. Okay, let's see the next one. It is CAN, that is campus area network. It is more than one building or room, so it is going to connect several LANs which are across the university or office campus. So the name itself suggests that it is going to cover a lot of area having a campus. Okay, and it is going to cover not a single room, it is going to cover multiple buildings within a limited area, say 1 to 5 kilometers. Okay, so it is more than LAN. Okay, and it is going to cover the multiple buildings, whereas if you see the LAN cover only one building or one room, whereas CAN is going to cover multiple buildings up to 5 kilometers. Okay, it can be have used in university, college or campus area network. Okay, the next one, a very important one, is MAN. What is MAN? Metropolitan area network. Okay, metropolitan area network. Again, the purpose, it is also going to connect LANs and CANs but within the city, and sometime it was used for metropolitan area, so that's why this name has arise. Okay, so when several LANs are connected across the city, it become a metropolitan area network. A simple example is your cable TV. Okay, so a city cable generally provide a widespread TV cable to the city. Okay, so that is your MAN basically. And coverage area, it can cover 2 to more city. Okay, and as I told you, citywide network, citywide Wi-Fi, citywide cable TV network are the example of metropolitan area network. Okay, for example, if I talk about Geo Fiber, okay, so it is providing a city Wi-Fi, so that is your MAN basically. The next one is the WAN, that is wide area network, and the purpose is, again, it is going to connect several LANs and CANs and even MANs across a long distance. Okay, so it is a wide area network. It is covered more than 2 or more countries. Okay, and this was asked in SSC, CHSL and NTPC. WAN is very wide and it spreads between 2 or more countries, whereas we have seen metropolitan area network where it is spread across 2 or more cities, whereas in WAN it spread across 2 or more countries. And a very important one, these are also known as long haul networks. Okay, and this was asked in ARO and NTPC exam. Okay, and the example is the internet. Okay, and remember, the largest WAN over the world is internet. Okay, internet is the largest wide area network. Okay, so based on the area, we have seen PAN, we have seen LAN, we have seen CAN, MAN and WAN. Okay. Now see, based on the access, the first one is the intranet. Okay. And the word itself says intra means within. Okay. And basically the intranet is a type of network. It is basically a private network within an organization. Okay. So it is my private network, it become intranet. Why it is called intra? Because it is going to be used within an organization, not outside the organization. Since it is not going to be used outside the organization, it become a private network. And since it is a private, so restricted access will be there, and only employees or the internal members are going to use that intranet. Okay. Scenario I will tell you. Let's say a shared network within an organization that enable all its employees to communicate with each other. Okay, so I have one network in my office and all the employees are communicating over that network. It become a intranet, not internet. Okay, within organization it means intranet. And example can be company HR portal or internal email system. For example, if I talk about my office has my internal email system through which we send the information from one computer to another through internal network. So our network is intranet. Okay. The next one is extranet. It is extra means outside or the beyond. Okay, so again it is private network, but it allow limited access to the outsider. Okay, it is very important. Okay, it is similar to intranet, but sometimes we need to communicate with the outer world member also. So in that case, they provide some access to the outsider also. And access will be internal members and the selected outsiders who are going to access the network from the outside. It can be a supply portal or client project access. Suppose I am working on some project for another company. I want to access their email system. So they will provide me the access for their intranet. Okay. The next one and the very important one is the internet. And we have separate class on the internet. Okay. You can just see and get benefited from that. And the word inter means between or among. Between or among what? A public network. It is a public network which is open to everyone. Okay, for example, like everyone is accessing internet, so it is open to everyone. It is not limited to one company or not limited to India. It is open to everyone all over the world. And internet sometimes refer as an international network. Okay, international means across the nation. It is open, it is a public network. And sometimes it is also known as super network because it is sometimes called network of network. Okay, it is a network, a big network. Outside the network is again a internet, so it become a super network kind of thing. And the basic definition, it is group of internet computer used by the large organization in regional, national and global area. Okay, so when everything is connected all over the globe, it become internet. Example, these are the example like Google and YouTube. These are the website which are present on the internet. Okay, suppose the Google server is in the America and you are accessing it from the India. So it is basically you are accessing through internet. Again, YouTube is present in the America server and you are accessing through internet to their server from the internet. Okay, so we have seen three type of network: intranetwork, extra network and the internetwork, or also known as internet. The next topic in the basic of computer networking is network topology. And this is very important topic from the exam point of view, whether it is SSC CGL, CHSL or RRB NTPC. And in this particular chapter, the most important one is the features of the topology and the identification of the topology. Okay, these type of questions are generally asked in the exam. Okay, so let's see the definition of network topology. So we have seen in the first class that a network is basically the interconnection of the nodes which are basically used to exchange the information. Okay, so how they are arranged or how they are connected and cables in the network, it is the network topology. Okay, in short, how the devices are connected to each other, it is called network topology. I repeat once again, how devices are connected to each other is the network topology, and the arrangement or the layout of computer and the cables in the network is called network topology. Okay, and there are basically 5 topology. One more is there, which is we call it as a hybrid topology, which is combination of these topology. So there are basically 5 topologies starting from mesh, star, bus, ring and hybrid topology. Okay, so let's see one by one. The first one is mesh topology. Okay, so in the figure you can see these are the station, or you can say these are the computers or the nodes or the device. They are making a network. Okay, so they are connected to one another. So what is the characteristic of this mesh topology? From the figure itself you can say that every device are connected to every other device. For example, let's see this station. So this station is connected to each and every station in the network. So it is connected to this station, it is connected to this station, it is connected to this station, it is connected to this station. Okay, so the most important characteristic of mesh topology is that every devices or the nodes or the computers are connected to every other devices. Okay, and sometime it is also known as completely connected network. Okay, so the completely connected network is the mesh topology basically. Okay, and it is most reliable network configuration. Why it is most reliable? Suppose one link is broken, this channel is broken, this wire is broken. Even though this channel is broken, station this can send the message to this station via some other route. Okay, so in this way it become a reliable network configuration. And sometime in exam he can ask the number of wires required or number of the channels required, number of path required. Okay, so the formula is n into n minus 1 by 2. Okay, this you can derive easily when everything is connected to each other. It is basically n into n minus 1 by 2. For example, there are 5 stations, so number of wire required will be 5 into 4 divided by 2. It become 10. So you can count it. There are 10 wires are required in the mesh topology having 5 number of nodes. And it is very costly and complex since each device need to be connected to every other device. Okay, so wires need to be laid out, so in that way it become costly and it become complex. Okay, so you need to connect each and every device to each and every other. Okay, so in this way it become complex also. Let's see the next one. It is star topology. So in the star topology, what is the characteristic you are looking in this figure? Yes, the first one is that all the stations, all the computers are connected to central hub. Okay, so all these stations are not connected to each other, but they are connected to the central hub or it is also known as switch. So this pointer we have seen in CHSL. And why it is called star? So you can make it like that. This is my central hub and all these PC are connected to each other. So in this way it become a star. Okay, so the most important characteristic is that all these stations are connected to the central hub or the switch. And this type of star topology is very commonly used in local area network. So we have seen different type of network, and local area network is a common network, and it is the star topology which is commonly used in such type of networks. And in this case, the number of wire required will be n-1. For example, we have 4 stations. Okay, so if there are 4 stations, how many wires are required? It is n, not n-1. It is 4 because it is going to be connected to the central hub. So 4 station, 4 wires will be required. Okay. The next one is the drawback. One drawback is there that if the central hub got failed, it is going to crash the network. Okay, so each station is communicating with each other via central hub. So if central hub is crashed, everything is going to be crashed. Okay, so in this way it become unreliable sort of network. Let's see, the next one is the bus topology. So let's see what is the characteristic of bus topology. And here if you see that all the computer or the station or the nodes are connected on a single cable. Okay, and this single cable is called backbone. Okay, backbone. All these computers are connected to this backbone single main cable. And it uses multi-point connection. We have seen 2 point of connection. One is one-to-one connection and the second one is multi-point. So multiple points the stations are connected. And the problem with this type of network is that if my main line single cable or the backbone cable got fault, it is going to crash the whole network. Since it got crashed, every other station is going to affect because they are connected to that backbone cable. Okay. Next one is the ring topology. Let's see the important characteristic. As the word suggests, all the computer are going to be connected in a circular loop. So you can see in the figure that all the stations are connected to the circular loop and data travels unidirectionally. Although you can see it can travel in both the direction, but in the ring topology, one of the important characteristic is that data travel unidirectional. Okay, that is sometimes called as a half duplex or simplex. Okay, that we have seen a simplex or half duplex. Okay, and it is using one mechanism that is called token passing mechanism. Okay, so whoever has the token, that machine is going to send the data and all other station need to listen. Okay, and the problem is that again the device fails, it will lead the network crash. Okay, suppose this device was there. Okay, so if that device got failed, it is going to crash the network since it is based on the token passing mechanism. The next one is the hybrid topology. As the word suggests, that it is going to be a combination of topologies. Okay, it can be a star with the bus. So as you can see, this is my star topology, since star topology uses a central hub and the bus using multi-point connectivity. So here it is a combination of both star and the bus. Okay, it can be other also topology. Let's see the next topic. The next topic is networking devices, and in the networking devices, these are the important topics. You should know what exactly is the networking devices, what are the different type of networking devices, and the functions of each networking devices. Okay, so in today's session we are going to see all these topics from the exam point of view. Okay, so the first one is, what is the function and purpose of networking devices? Okay, so you know that basically a network is the collection of computer which is used to share the resources. Okay, so in order to connect those computer or those nodes, we need some devices. Those are called networking devices. So the main purpose of these networking devices are used to connect the computers. Okay, and the next important pointer is that it works at different layer of OSI or TCP IP model. So there are two model in the computer network. You should know there is 7-layer model, that is OSI model, and 5-layer model, TCP IP model. Okay, so this we have already made a chapter on this particular model. Okay, you can just go through those model. What are those model? What are the name of the 7 layers? What are the function of each layer? Okay, so for timing, just remember the networking device works at different layer of OSI model. Okay, from exam you will get one questions from layer also. Okay, so these are the different types of networking devices which are commonly asked in the competitive examination, more specifically to SSC, RRB, JE. Okay, so let's see one by one. So before proceeding, you should know the networking devices and the layer of operation. So this is very important slides. Okay, so as you can see, these are the layer: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, and application layer. This is what model? TCP IP model, because there are 5 layers in it. Okay, this is TCP IP model. Okay, and he can ask you in many ways. Okay, for example, he can ask you at what layer gateway operate. Okay, so your answer should be that it operate at all the layers. So you can see the pink color, it is operating at all the layers. Similarly, router works from physical layer, data link layer to network layer. The topmost layer is the network layer. Okay, similarly, bridge mainly operate at the data link layer, but it has to pass through physical layer, and repeaters or hub works only at the physical layer. Okay, so the layer and the networking devices you should remember. Okay, coming to the first networking device, that is repeater. The scenario is like that: if you want to extend the Ethernet cable to cover more distance, suppose you are working on this PC, okay, and you are changing or you want to extend your PC to some other location, say 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer. Okay, in that case you can use a repeater. Just join those cable and you will have access of this computer also. Okay, so basically the function of the repeater is to connect the two network segment to extend the distance. Okay, as you can see, this segment 1 is extended to segment 2 via repeater. Okay, and as I told you also that it works at the physical layer. So you can see it works at the physical layer, layer 1 only. This is important pointer. And a very important pointer which is generally asked is that it is used to regenerate signal, not amplify. Some text gave it as an amplification, but it is not amplification, it is a regeneration. It is going to regenerate signal over the long distance. So this pointer was asked in SSC selection phase 5th. Okay, so as you can see, these are the corrupted signal. So this digital signal via repeater, it regenerate those signal with the help of repeaters. Okay, and a very important pointer is the filtering capability. It has no filtering capability. Okay, so it just repeat the signal, that's it. Okay, so it has no filtering capability. Coming to the hub, for example, you are working in an office. Okay, and you want to give a print. Okay, so there are many PC which are connected to the printer, okay, using some star topology. Okay, in that case you need a hub. Okay, for example, this is your PC, okay, and this is the printer. Okay, so via hub you can directly give the printing command to that printer. Okay, so basically hub also connects the computer or devices in the LAN, but the basic difference between hub and the repeater that we are going to see in the next pointer. Okay, it also works at the layer 1, that is physical layer, and the main difference that I was telling you is the broadcast communication. Okay, what does this broadcast means? It sends the data to all the connected devices. Okay, so it is a broadcast device basically. Okay, and it broadcast means like it will send data to all the connected devices. Suppose I want to communicate with this computer, I can communicate with this computer, or I can communicate with this computer since it is connected to a central point in the star topology. And again, since it is working on the physical layer, there is no intelligence or no filtering in it. Okay, this is also again a very important pointer he can ask. And the next one is also known as multi-port repeater. Okay, hub is known as multi-port repeater. Okay, it is some sort of repeater, but it has many ports in it. Okay, so that's why it is known as multi-port repeater, and commonly it is used in the star topology. Coming to the next networking device, suppose there are 2 floors in your office, and they are separated by LAN. So each office, each floors has their own LAN. Okay, you want to connect those 2 floors. In order to connect those 2 floors which have separate LAN, you use the bridge. Okay, so the purpose of this bridge is to connect 2 LANs. Okay, LAN is what? Local area network. And this pointer was asked in SSC JEE, a very simple one. You have 2 LAN, this is your first LAN, this is your second LAN, and you want to connect these 2 LAN. For that you need a networking device named as a bridge. Bridge, as you know, the word itself says it is used to connect the 2 parts. Okay, so here it is going to connect the 2 LAN segments, and it works at the data link layer, not at the physical layer. Okay, and the main pointer is that it is going to forward the data within the network. Okay, so this network which was made, it is going to forward in the same network. It cannot send outside to the internet. Okay, and since it works at the data link layer, it is going to use MAC address. What is MAC? MAC is media access control. Okay, so it is a basically data link address. I think it is 12-bit 6-byte address. Okay, it is 6-byte address which identify the hardware of the computer. Okay, since it is MAC address, so it will definitely use MAC address based filtering. Okay, suppose this table, if you see, it has make a bridge table and it has 6 bytes in it. These are the MAC address, and it is going to use this table for transforming the information. So it is going to filter it out based on this bridge table. Okay, so it has also MAC based filtering capability. The next that we are going to see is the switch. Bridge and switch are commonly the same purpose, but the contrasting difference is that it has few ports. Few ports means it can connect only 2 max to 4 LANs in one go. Okay, so it can connect only 2 LANs, whereas switch has multiple ports, so switch can connect many LANs using that device. Okay, this is the primary difference between the bridge and the switch. Okay, and it is also known as 2-layer switch since it works at the layer 2. Okay, yes, let's see the next pointer. it is switch. So as I told you that it is similar to the bridge, it is also going to connect the LAN, but the primary difference is the number of ports. So switch will have multiple ports, whereas a bridge has 2 or maximum 4 ports in it. Okay, so switch is going to use many ports, and it is used to connect multiple LANs, not like 1 or 2 LANs. It is going to connect multiple LANs, in fact in order of 10 to 12. Okay, and as I told you, it is going to connect multiple devices within a LAN. It is like a hub. So hub is used to connect independent devices, whereas switch is used to connect the LAN. Okay, and it works at the data link layer 2, and again it is similar to the bridge, that it is going to forward the data within the same network. And since it works at the data link, it is going to use the MAC address, and MAC address, as I told you, it is media access control, which is the physical address of your device or your computer. Since it is using MAC address, it is going to have MAC based filtering capability. Okay, suppose he will make one table here. Okay, based on the entries in this table, it is going to make a decision whether to pass the data from one particular LAN to another. Suppose this table says that it should not be sent to LAN this number. Okay, so it will going to reject all the packets based on this table. So this is what is called MAC based filtering. And as I told you that switch has many ports, whereas bridge has few ports in it. Okay, these are two similar devices, but the basic difference is this only. And sometime he can ask you what is an intelligent hub. So it should be switch. Switch is known as intelligent hub because it is using MAC based filtering capability. The next one, and the very important one from the exam point of view, is the router. So if you want to connect your LAN to the internet or LAN to some other LAN, there is a device called router. So this symbol denotes routers. Okay, and as you can see, you are connecting this LAN to a WAN, and again it is connected to LAN. So in that case, a router is needed, and nowadays everybody knows what is the purpose of router. It is used to connect two or more different network. Different network means here it is LAN, here it is WAN, again here it is LAN. Okay, and here it is one more network, that is internet. So it is used to connect two or more different networks. That is okay, but the primary important point, it connects those network which uses the same protocol. What do you mean by same protocol? For example, this LAN uses TCP IP model. So again, this LAN should use TCP IP model only, then only router will work. Okay, if it is using some legacy protocol or some custom protocol, it is not going to operate. Okay, so this is very important pointer for your exam. It is going to connect different network that uses the same protocol, and it works at the network layer 3. This is again a very important pointer. This was asked in SSC CGL 2016. Again, it is going to forward the data between different networks. That is a common terminology. It can connect to LAN to LAN, to LAN to WAN, and LAN to internet. Okay, and whereas if you see, bridge and switch uses MAC address for filtering. Here it is going to use IP address. IP address is what? It is internet protocol address for routing the packet. Okay, that was physical address. It is known as logical address. Okay, it is known as logical address. Each device will have a logical address in it. Okay, if it's want to communicate some other devices. Okay, so router use IP address, not physical address. And again, router can have filtering capability, but this time it will be IP address based. Okay, so similar to the bridge and switch, it will have a table. That table is called routing table. In that routing table, it is going to have entries based on the IP address, and in which IP address you should forward the data that is going to have in that table. Okay. And it is also known as 3-layer switch because it works at the 3rd layer, and also known as internetworking device. Internetworking device means it is going to connect the 2 different networks. That's why it is called internetworking device. Okay, so 2 networks. So you are connecting the internetwork. So that's why it is known as internetworking device. Whereas it works at the 3rd layer, so it is known as 3-layer switch. Okay. Coming to the next networking device, that is gateway. Gateway is basically, as I told you, router is used to connect the network that uses the same protocol, where gateway is used to connect the 2 different networks that uses the different protocol. Okay, this is a very different protocol. Okay, this is a very important pointer. It is different from the router. How it is different from the router? It is going to use the different protocol, and it is works at all the 7 layer. Okay, and whereas if you see the router works at the layer 3, whereas it operate at all the 7 layer. And a very important pointer again, it is known as protocol converter. Why protocol converter? Because it is using different protocol, so it need to convert one protocol to another protocol. Okay, so gateway is one of the gate of entry into another network that uses different protocol. The next one is a modem. So from exam point of view, you should know the full form. It is modulator and demodulator. So MO from modulator, okay, and DEM from the demodulator. Okay, so modulator and demodulator. So what is the purpose of modem? First, you should know that it is used to convert digital signal to the analog signal via telephone line and vice versa. What do you mean by digital and analog signals? So this is your computer. So as you know, computer understand only digital signal. Okay, so I will make it modem. So this is my modem, and this is going to use telephone line. Again, the other PC which will going to use modem, and again one more PC. Okay, so since this PC is going to generate digital signal, so this digital signal will be passed to the modem. It will convert into the analogous signal, because telephone line will have analog device. It is going to carry only analog signal, and in analog signal it will be transmitted to the telephone line. The other device which is connected to the modem, it will receive the analog data, and it will convert to the digital, since PC is going to understand digital part only. Okay, so there are 2 terminology like modulation and demodulation. The first, where it is going to convert digital to analog, that is called modulation, whereas the reverse part, where it is going to convert analog to digital, it is called demodulation. Okay, and primary purpose of modem is used to internet connectivity. Okay, nowadays everybody know that modem is used to connect the internet, and the function, as I told you, that it is going to connect the computer to the network via telephone line or ISP. Example is home computer connected to the telephone line, and telephone line is connected to your internet service provider from which you are using the internet. Okay, so from this particular modem, you should know what is modulation, what is demodulation, and what is the full form. So full form is very important. Okay, the next pointer is that there are different types of modem based on transmission media. There are 5 modems which are available. So the very important one is a dial-up modem. Dial-up modem, as you know, when you are dialing something, means you are using the telephone, and it uses the traditional telephone line, not the latest transmission media. Okay, so if it is using latest traditional telephone line, it is dial-up modem, and it generally is a small, and nowadays it become obsolete, and it is order of kbps. Okay, And nowadays DSL modem has come into picture, that is digital subscriber line, which again uses a telephone line, but they are faster and the order is around 1 Mbps or more. Okay, the other like cable modem, which uses coaxial cable. Wireless modem, as you know, it uses the mobile network. So whatever the mobile network like 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G you have, it is going to use those network for the internet access. Satellite modem is the one of its kind that it is used to connect the internet via satellite signal. It is going to communicate with the other device using satellite links. Okay, these are not commonly asked in the exam, but still you should know the different types of modem also. The next is access point. For example, you want to connect your to the Wi-Fi, okay, then to office LAN. Okay, nowadays normally everybody uses hotspot and the Wi-Fi. So basically we are connecting through access points. So access points main function is that it is going to connect your wireless device, it can be laptop or mobile, to the wired network. Okay, that is wired LAN. And this access points work at the data link layer, and physical layer is used for the wireless transmission. Okay, this is different from the wired transmission. For wireless, physical layer will be definitely used, but it works at the data link layer, that is layer 2. Okay, coming to the next is the firewall. So the main example is that suppose you are working in a company and you want to protect your company LAN from the internet connection. Obviously, since internet can introduce some virus into your LAN, so you need to protect your LAN from the malicious person. Okay, in that case you need a firewall. Basically firewall works at the network and transport layer and sometime application layer. Okay, but the main is that it works at network and transport layer. And as I told you, it is going to connect internal network to the external network. Internal network is your local area network, whereas external network is the internet. Okay, and the very important pointer for the firewall is whether it is a hardware based firewall or the software based firewall. It is going to filter incoming and outgoing traffic and based on the security rules. Okay, suppose your company has some rules that it should not allow the person to use Facebook. Okay, so it is going to filter that website via connecting to the internet. Okay, so that is one good case. And it also protect from the unauthorized access. Okay,